He started every video with the same line. "You're stronger than yesterday." Millions believed him. Millions needed to. But what if the person saving you online is the one running from himself? What if the perfect smile is just a mirror hiding something that screams behind it? This isn't a story about fame. It's a story about the day the truth caught up with a lie that went viral. Because in a world where every scroll writes a new judgment, who decides when redemption expires? Ethan Vale wasn't the villain. Not yet. But in the next 48 hours, the internet would build one from pixels and memory. And the scariest part? It all started with a single forgotten video file. It began as a whisper, a single repost, a few curious comments, then 1,000. Within an hour, the clip was everywhere. The video wasn't long, just 23 seconds. But in those seconds, Ethan's past stared back at him. A fight, a shove, a face twisted in anger. The same man who preached healing once hurt someone deeply. And now, everyone who'd ever believed in him had something to say. Screens became courtrooms. Strangers became judges, and Ethan's phone wouldn't stop vibrating, each buzz another piece of his empire collapsing in real time. Noah was the first to react, not with panic, but calculation. Damage control. Delete the comments. Release a statement. Shift the focus. But Ethan refused. He wanted to explain, to be honest, to own his past. Noah knew that honesty doesn't trend. Scandal does. Their argument blurred into the sound of Ethan's notification tone, repeating like a heartbeat he couldn't escape. Every second of silence online was another second of judgment, growing louder. Lena Cruz watched the story break like a storm she didn't mean to start. She had the footage for months. She thought exposing it might stop something worse. But she didn't plan for the wildfire that followed. People began digging into Ethan's old posts, twisting every word, every gesture. The truth she revealed wasn't what she expected. It was darker, louder, uncontainable. And now, even she wasn't sure if she was the journalist or the villain in someone else's tragedy. By midnight, Ethan's follower count dropped faster than it rose. Hashtags turned against him. Old fans stitched his videos with their heartbreak. Maya Lee, once his loudest supporter, made a new post. He told us to heal. But he never did. It went viral in under an hour. And somewhere in the city, Ethan stood on his balcony, staring at the skyline that once symbolized his success. For the first time, the silence felt heavier than the noise. And deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning of the fall. By dawn, the clip had become the internet's newest obsession. Every influencer commentary channel uploaded their version of the truth. Each thumbnail more dramatic than the last. Ethan Vale exposed. The lie behind the smile. The story mutated faster than Ethan could breathe. He tried refreshing, hoping it would stop. But it only multiplied. The faces of strangers dissected his life with surgical cruelty. Some begged for context. Others demanded punishment. No one wanted patience. Outrage was faster, louder, and more profitable. Ethan's name, once a symbol of hope, was now a headline dripping with betrayal. Maya Lee didn't mean to go viral. Her post was emotional, raw, unfiltered. A fan's heartbreak, not an execution. But the internet twisted it into ammunition. Her face appeared in reaction videos, her words quoted in headlines. Maya Lee, the fan who turned on her idol. The guilt hit her slowly, like cold rain. She didn't hate Ethan. She hated the version of him who lied. But now her grief had been repackaged as rage, and she couldn't take it back. Not when millions were watching. Noah Briggs spent the morning in calls, his voice steady, but his pulse racing. Every brand Ethan worked with had one message: we're suspending the partnership. Sponsorships collapsed in hours. Algorithms punished him faster than the public. Noah crafted a statement: apology, accountability, redemption. But Ethan refused to read it. "It's not PR," he said. "It's my life," Noah sighed. In the digital world, honesty wasn't strategy. It was suicide. The truth needed timing, not sincerity. Lena Cruz watched her inbox overflow with messages, some thanking her for revealing the truth, others calling her a monster. She'd wanted to start a conversation about accountability. Instead, she'd unleashed chaos. Every hour a new theory appeared. Some claiming she was paid, others saying she was jealous. She tried to defend herself, but every reply became another screenshot for someone's thread. The story had evolved beyond her control. The truth she revealed no longer belonged to her. It belonged to the swarm. That night, Ethan went live. His voice shook, his eyes heavy. He didn't script this one. He spoke about regret, about growth, about being young and angry and wrong. But no one wanted nuance. They wanted blood. The comments poured faster than he could speak. "You're just sorry you got caught. Stop acting. Cancel him." The live stream ended abruptly. For a moment, his room was silent except for the faint hum of his ring light. Outside, thousands of screens replayed his breakdown, looping his pain as content. Somewhere deep in the algorithm, a number climbed. His follower count was dropping, but his views were higher than ever. Once the clip went viral, the internet stopped being curious. It became cruel. People dug into Ethan's old tweets, yearbook photos, and private messages. Accounts with no faces posted threads exposing evidence that didn't exist. Everyone wanted to be first to find another flaw, another reason to hate. Ethan wasn't a person anymore. He was content. And the more pain he showed, the more engagement it brought. His past wasn't just viral, it was monetized. Outrage had become entertainment, and empathy was bad for the algorithm. Maya Lee tried to disappear. She deleted her post, deactivated her account, and shut her phone off. But the internet didn't stop following her. People accused her of chasing clout, of lying, of ruining someone's life. Her inbox overflowed with threats, her photos reposted without permission. She became a new villain in a story she never meant to join. The internet doesn't forgive. It just finds a new target when it's bored. Noah Briggs moved fast. He hired lawyers, flagged videos, threatened lawsuits, but the damage was already viral. He watched as Ethan's sponsors cut ties one by one, their logos vanishing from his bio like ghosts. He tried calling Ethan, but every message went unread. In a final act of control, Noah began negotiating interviews. If the story couldn't be stopped, it could at least be sold. After all, scandal paid too. And Ethan's fall was now an industry. Lena Cruz started receiving messages from anonymous accounts. Videos of her walking home, screenshots of her private posts. Someone had turned her into a target too. She tried to report it, but each new notification came faster than she could block. For the first time, she understood what Ethan meant when he said the internet feels like drowning. She'd revealed the truth, but now the truth was devouring her too. The line between journalist and victim blurred until she couldn't tell which she was. Ethan watched from his apartment as his life became trending entertainment. Every hour brought a new video dissecting his expressions, his words, his apologies. He blinked too much. He smiled when he shouldn't. Strangers debated his humanity like a script. Finally, Ethan closed his phone and stared into the mirror. For a long time, he didn't recognize the man looking back. He whispered, almost to himself, "If they want a villain, I'll give them one." The camera on his desk blinked red, waiting. 3 days after the leak, Ethan vanished from the internet. No posts, no live streams, no apologies. The silence confused everyone, until a new video appeared from an unverified account. It wasn't a confession. It was evidence. Screen recordings, voice notes, messages, all pointing to one thing. The clip that destroyed him had been edited. Ethan claimed someone had framed him, and the internet had done the rest. Within minutes, the world split again. Half demanded justice, half called it manipulation. But one thing was clear. The story wasn't over. It had just changed direction. Noah Briggs had seen this playbook before. Truth used like bait. But this time it wasn't his idea. Ethan had gone rogue. Noah watched the video explode across platforms, feeling a mix of pride and fear. It was powerful, calculated, and dangerous. He knew that even if Ethan was innocent, perception mattered more than proof. Still, part of him admired the move. Ethan wasn't running anymore. He was rewriting his narrative, pixel by pixel. But once you fight the internet, there's no truce. Only escalation. Lena Cruz sat in her car outside the newsroom, watching Ethan's video on her phone with trembling hands. The timestamps didn't match. The audio had splices. He might be right. If Ethan had been framed, that meant someone else had orchestrated the fall. Someone wanted him gone. But who? And why now? Lena realized she was part of a bigger machine. One she no longer controlled. The journalist who once broke the story was now chasing the shadow behind it. Maya Lee watched the comeback video and felt something she hadn't in days. Doubt. Maybe she was wrong. Maybe everyone was. The clip looked real. The evidence convincing. But the comments under her name were merciless. Apologize to Ethan. You ruined him. Take responsibility. Her heart raced as she opened the camera app, whispering to herself, if I started this, I have to finish it. For the first time, she wasn't just a spectator. She was part of the redemption arc. Within 24 hours, Ethan's video hit 20 million views. News outlets called it the comeback of the year. Hashtags flipped overnight, from #CancelEthanVale to #JusticeForEthan. But beneath the victory, something darker stirred. A message appeared in his inbox. You weren't supposed to find that file. Attached was a photo. His own apartment window, taken from the street below. Ethan's smile faded. Maybe he wasn't the only one being watched. Ethan Vale was trending again, but this time as a hero. People loved the idea of a comeback, of innocence proven after destruction. But Ethan couldn't sleep. Every sound outside his apartment made him flinch. Every shadow looked like it knew something. He started checking his curtains twice, then 3 times. The internet forgave him too easily, too fast. It didn't feel like justice. It felt like setup. Somewhere behind the screens, someone was still pulling the strings. And this time they were better at playing the crowd than he ever was. Lena Cruz began digging again. The video Ethan uploaded, the one proving his innocence, had metadata inconsistencies. The timestamps matched too perfectly, the edits too clean. Someone wanted this version of the story to exist. She traced one of the accounts that first reposted Ethan's proof and froze. It led back to a digital marketing firm that once worked for Noah Briggs. The pieces clicked. Redemption wasn't organic. It was engineered. The same machinery that built Ethan's fame had rebuilt his forgiveness. Noah Briggs wasn't hiding it anymore. He watched the engagement graphs climb, sponsorships return, and brand emails flood back in. The redemption arc had worked better than the original fame. The public didn't want saints. They wanted sinners who cried on camera. Ethan had become the perfect product again, wrapped in guilt and rebirth. But Noah didn't tell Ethan the truth. The evidence wasn't real. It was a reconstruction built by editors and AI tools to clarify the narrative. It wasn't about truth. It was about control. Maya Lee's apology video made her a hero too. She gained followers, sponsors, even interview requests. But inside, something felt wrong. Her guilt hadn't vanished. It had just been monetized. Every tear, Every confession was clipped and shared. The same internet that punished Ethan now rewarded her for growth. She started wondering if any of it was real anymore. If everyone was just playing roles in a script none of them wrote. That night, Ethan finally confronted Noah. The air between them was sharp. Ethan demanded to know where the proof came from, who sent the files, why the data looked staged. Noah didn't deny it. He just smiled. Truth doesn't matter online, he said. Narrative does. Ethan felt the room tilt. His entire redemption was a lie, another performance fed to the crowd. He realized he wasn't the victim or the villain. He was the product, and once again someone else was cashing in on his pain. Ethan Vale stopped posting again. This time not for strategy, because he couldn't trust reality anymore. Every time he opened his phone, his own face stared back, cut into new lies. Clips of him crying, laughing, defending himself. Spliced, remixed, repackaged by strangers who didn't even know him. He'd become a puppet version of himself, performing endlessly for an audience that never slept. The walls of his apartment felt smaller, heavier. Even silence was suspicious. He whispered to no one. What if the truth was never the point? And for the first time, the question scared him. Lena Cruz tried to reach him. Her messages went unread, her calls unanswered. She knew he was unraveling, but part of her wondered if she was too. Every time she searched Ethan's name, a new theory appeared. Ethan was framed by Noah. Ethan framed himself. Lena was part of it. The lines between truth and fiction blurred beyond recognition. She printed everything, every article, every screenshot, trying to build a timeline. But the story no longer followed time. It followed clicks. Noah Briggs, meanwhile, thrived in the chaos. His name stayed out of headlines and Ethan's numbers climbed again. Views up, followers returning, sympathy restored. But every victory felt emptier. Late one night, he watched an AI-generated video of Ethan giving a speech he never recorded. It had millions of views. Noah realized the monster he built no longer needed him. Ethan Vale had become self-sustaining, a digital ghost feeding on attention. Noah shut his laptop and for the first time felt afraid of his own creation. Maya Lee posted less. But when she did, her comments filled with demands. Talk about Ethan again. Where's your reaction? We made you. The audience she once inspired now consumed her like it did him. She scrolled through old clips of Ethan, his smile, his words, his breakdown, and realized that they both had become fuel for something no one could stop. She whispered into her phone camera, "Maybe none of us are real here anymore." The video hit 1 million views in an hour. Ethan finally broke. The live stream started with silence, just his breathing. Then came the words, "They made me the villain. Then they made me the victim. Now I don't know which one I am." Thousands watched, hearts flooding the screen, digital empathy wrapped in dopamine. He stared into the lens, tears drying mid-sentence, and whispered, "Maybe I was never either. Maybe I was just content." Then he shut off the camera. For hours the stream replayed on loop, while the internet waited for part 2 that would never come. A week later, Ethan Vale disappeared. No posts, no sightings, just silence. The internet filled the gap the way it always did, with theories. Some said he was taking a break. Others said worse, but the truth was simpler. The algorithm had already moved on. New scandals, new faces, new chaos. The cycle had restarted. Ethan's name still lingered in hashtags, but the heat was gone. In the feed's endless scroll, he became another cautionary tale. Proof that fame online has an expiration date shorter than memory itself. Lena Cruz's final article went viral, not for drama, but for honesty. She wrote about guilt, about how the truth online isn't truth at all, but a performance dressed in pixels. She ended with a line that echoed everywhere. "We don't destroy people. We edit them." Some called it redemption, others hypocrisy. But for Lena, it was confession. She turned off her notifications and walked away, knowing that in a few days even her story would drown beneath someone else's tragedy. Noah Briggs pivoted fast. He signed new clients, sold a course on crisis management, and spoke at marketing events about narrative control. The industry praised him. No one mentioned Ethan. To them, he was a case study, not a casualty. Noah didn't flinch when asked about ethics. He'd learned that morality doesn't trend. But every night, before sleep, he'd scroll through Ethan's old page. It still had one pinned comment: "You're stronger than yesterday." And somehow, it still got likes. Maya Lee stopped making content. Her followers begged her to return, but she never did. Instead, she started volunteering at a youth center, teaching kids how to think before they post. Some recognized her and whispered, "Aren't you that girl from TikTok?" She'd smile softly and say, "Not anymore." Sometimes she'd still scroll through the internet's noise, catch glimpses of Ethan's videos, and wonder if he finally found peace. Or just another platform. Months later, a new TikTok account appeared. No profile picture, no bio, just a single video. It showed a man walking along a coastline, the sound of waves replacing words. At the end, a familiar voice whispered, "You're stronger than yesterday." The comments exploded. Is that Ethan? Is he back? Is it real? But the account never posted again. The mystery became a legend, another ghost story for the algorithm to feed on. In the end, Ethan Vale didn't vanish. He became what the internet always wanted him to be: unforgettable and unknowable.